Took a survey, and the survey had interesting conclusions, but now we can dive into why some students voted the way they did. Out of the 24 students in the survey, 14 of them said the eye was the most important. They were pretty close. The human visual system gives our bodies the ability to see our physical environment. The system requires communication between the eye and the brain to interpret external stimuli into images. Humans are highly visual creatures compared to many other animals which rely more on smell or hearing. And over our evolutionary history, we have developed an incredibly complex sight system. And why do humans rely on vision? To answer that, we have to understand how vision works. All vision is based on the perception of electromagnetic rays. These rays pass through the cornea in the form of light. The cornea focuses the rays as they enter the eye through the pupil, the black aperture at the front of the eye. The pupil acts as a gatekeeper, allowing as much or as little to enter as is necessary to see an image properly. The pigmented area around the pupil is the iris. Along with supplying a person's eye color, the iris is responsible for acting as the pupil stop, or sphincter. 2 layers of iris muscles contract or dilate the pupil to change the amount of light that enters the eye. Behind the pupil is the lens, which is similar in shape and function to a camera lens. Together with the cornea, the lens adjusts the focal length of the image being seen onto the back of the eye, the retina. Visual reception occurs at the retina, where photoreceptor cells, called cones and rods, give an image color and shadow. The image is transduced into neural impulses, and then transferred through the optic nerve to the brain for processing. The visual cortex in the brain interprets the image to extract form, meaning, memory, and context. Color vision is a critical component of human vision and plays an important role in both perception and communication. Color sensors are found within cones, which respond to relatively broad color bands in the 3 basic regions of red, green, and blue. Any colors in between these 3 are perceived as different linear combinations on RGB. The eye is much more sensitive to overall light and color intensity than changes in the color itself. Colors have 3 attributes: brightness, based on luminance and reflectivity; saturation, based on the amount of white present; and hue, based on color combinations. Sophisticated combinations of these receptor signals are transduced into chemicals and electrical signals, which are sent to the brain for the dynamic process of color perception. Cones and rods are photoreceptors, a specialized neuron able to detect and react to light. Includes both cones, daytime and color, and rods, nighttime. The opponent process theory states that when one emotion is experienced, the other is suppressed. For example, if you are frightened by a mean dog, the emotion of fear is expressed, and relief is suppressed. If the fear-causing stimulus continues to be present, after a while, the fear decreases and the relief intensifies. You know when you go to the eye doctor and they say you are either nearsighted or farsighted? Well, you're actually the opposite. Nearsighted is when you struggle to see far away, and farsighted is when you struggle to see close up, like when you're reading. Because we use our vision for everything, most people think it's the most important sense, but it's not. You'll see why when we're hearing is introduced next.
Have you ever wondered why you can hear music or cars honking? Well, you see, there are many factors to hearing, like sound waves, frequency, pitch, amplitude, and a very important part of your body, the ear. But before we can get into the complicated stuff, you need to know what sound actually is. Sound is a vibration of air molecules floating through the air. This vibration of air molecules is a sound wave, like this. Sound waves consist of frequency and pitch. What is frequency and pitch, you ask? Frequency is the number of cycles in a wave per given unit of time, usually seconds, while pitch is the perceived highness or lowness of a sound. These 2 work together. You can't have one without the other. For example, low frequency equals low pitch. However, do not get confused with pitch and how loud a sound is. The intensity, or how loud a sound wave actually is based off of the amplitude, the amount of energy in a wave.
Now comes the more complicated stuff, the ear. The ear has 3 main sections: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The very outer part of your ear is called the pinna. This is where those sound waves we were talking about earlier gets collected and pushed inside. Inside what, you ask? Well, the auditory canal, of course. This is where the sound waves are channeled towards your eardrum. When the air wave strikes the eardrum, it vibrates. This then causes the 3 tiny bones, the hammer, anvil, and stirrup, in your middle ear to concentrate the vibrations of the eardrum on the cochlea's oval window. But what in the world is a cochlea? It is a coiled, bony, fluid-filled tube in the inner ear that transforms sound vibrations into auditory signals. These auditory signals move up through the auditory nerve and to your auditory cortex of the temporal lobe. Your brain then tells you, oh, hey, that's my alarm clock going off, or a girl just going on and on and on about waves and hearing in the ear. And you're probably sitting there asking yourself, why am I listening to this? Well, you're listening to this because you chose to watch this video. You're hearing my voice because of sound waves that enter your ear, go through your auditory canal, hit your eardrum. The three little bones that concentrate on the vibration of the eardrum to the oval window, which moves into the cochlea, and is sent through the auditory nerve to your temporal lobe, where it is processed into sound. You should be thankful you can listen to this long, interesting video about hearing. Well, unless you are watching this video and suffering from hearing loss, then I'm so sorry that you've just been staring at a screen with a bunch of pretty pictures of the ear and sound waves. The two kinds of hearing loss are conduction hearing loss and central neural hearing loss. Conduction hearing loss is when the eardrum and the three tiny bones are damaged. Sensorineural hearing loss is when the cochlea's receptor cells or the auditory nerve is damaged. This is also called nerve deafness. Alright, I think I've taken up enough of your time. So this is where I give you the quick rundown of what you were supposed to be listening to, but was probably thinking about your plans for this weekend, or what you're going to eat for dinner tonight. Today, we went over sound waves, frequency, pitch, amplitude, intensity, the outer ear, middle ear, inner ear, and how they all work together so you can hear sound. Happy hearing! Does it bring back any memories? Well, first off, let's show you the nose and nasal cavity. Somewhere over here. Now, olfaction is a sense of smell. Psychologists study olfaction to learn how people process information through smell and how odors affect their behavior. Olfactory receptors are located in the epithelium, a layer of cells in the nasal cavity, which is coated with mucus. When molecules of chemicals are inhaled through the nose, they dissolve the mucus in olfactory receptors, send information to the olfactory bulb in the brain, because the olfactory bulb is part of the limbic system, which controls emotions. Smell is strongly linked to emotions. For example, scents sometimes evoke emotional memories. Now the real question is, why do specific smells bring back certain memories? When you first smell a new scent, you link it to an event, a person, a thing, or even a moment. Your brain forges a link between the smell and the memory, associating the smell of chlorine with summer at the pool or lilies at the funeral. When you encounter the smell again, the link is already there, ready to stimulate a memory or mood. The reasoning behind this is because the olfactory bulb is part of the brain's limbic system, an area so closely associated with memory and feeling and sometimes.
These are pictures of both the taste and the bud cells, which are in your tongue inside your mouth. A tongue map myth is when people believe that the human tongue is mapped into 4 different areas: sweet, sour, salty, bitter. However, this is not right. Gastrin is everything in your mouth, which includes tongue and taste buds, which allow us to transduce chemical molecules into specific taste sensations. So they let you taste, in other words. Sensory interactions. This is the principle that one sense can influence another. Smell influences taste. Fun fact, if you hold your nose, you will not be able to taste anything at all.
Pressure, warmth, cold, and pain. Damn, it's cold out. They all contribute to making us aware of potential dangers, and they all together create our sense of touch. Me touching this thing is so fuzzy. Okay. Our sense of pain is caused by pain being triggered by some sort of damage to the tissue or epidermis. It's pretty much our body's way of telling us something is wrong. The influence is biologically genetic differences in endorphin production, socio-culturally presence of others plus cultural expectations, psychologically your attention to pain, whether you've experienced it. Okay, gate control theory was made by Melzack and Wall. They came up with the theory in 1965, and they stated that the spinal cord contains a neurological gate that can either block pain signals or let them go along the brain. There are other senses. Vestibular is a sense of balance and spatial orientation. Okay. Temperature is the sense of heat, or the absence of heat like it is outside today, by the skin, including coordinating movements with balance, which makes sense. The time involves our cerebral cortex or cerebellum and our basal ganglia, and long term is monitored by suprachiasmatic nuclei, and our short term is timekeeping is handled by other cell systems, and our kinesthetic is awareness of the position of our body parts.
The survey have.
This end at 2:12.
Yeah. What time is it?
1:54. That's okay. Well, we
Okay.
can get it done.
So this is gonna be weird.
Wait, do you want it like this or like this?
like this?
Like this?
Yes. Okay, because like I'm not even gonna be looking.
Can you see it?
Yeah, but like I'm gonna be looking that way, and then she's gonna.
I'll just go above her. Or what if I'm like kneeling here
Yeah,
and she's
that's-
above me?
That's good.
Can you
Okay.
use the light turned down some? It might be easier to see.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm trying to make it look like I'm looking at the camera at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
I think I'm ready.
Oh wait, I'm already recording.
Oh.
I think, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, we can just crop it out.
Okay. You can
Wait,
just,
no,
you can
no.
just stop it and then like. And out. What do you smell? Does it bring back any memories? Well, first of all, let's.